me to try harder isn't going to fix my focus issues. Don't be the reason I fall further behind.
Look at what Abby has done. What's up, fellow pumpkins? Today I think it's important we talk about Dance Moms, the show that is filled to the brim with drama. From drama among mothers to the dance instructor who was once in prison for fraud, spending her hours away viciously insulting children. This show has a lot to look at. There is a lot to take in.
Is your mother
Get your finger
Do you
out
want to
of
be
my face, girl. Out the room.
Yeah,
girl,
you
out
idiot.
the room.
As you can see, this show is intense, and due to this intensity, it's gained widespread success. In addition to gaining tons of success, Dance Moms paved the way for many of the dancers in the show to be successful. The most known person being JoJo Siwa. Though some good has come from Dance Moms, there has been a lot of bad. There is a lot to unpack when you look at how this show has negatively impacted the lives of its cast members. Since there's so much to get through, it's important that I provide some context on what this show is for those of you who don't know. Dance Moms is a show that aired on the Lifetime channel. It's a reality show. Heavy quotation marks there. It follows the dancers of the Abby Lee Dance Company as they try to find success in competitive dance. And the show really puts a prime focus on the drama among the dancers' mothers and the dance instructor, Abby Lee Miller. There are frequent things that happen in the show to further drama and tension, and many of the show's decisions are seemingly made just to escalate conflict. For example, there is a pyramid system in which Abby literally rates the kids from best to worst over the week, forcing kids to compare themselves to each other and leading people to harbor jealousy and resentment. Now, with Abby Lee Miller, there is no nice way I can describe her, so I'll just let her do the talking.
I don't really need producers. I could probably make a kid cry in 30 seconds. I know exactly what to say to a child to make them run to their mother and then get their mother all ticked off.
She's proud of that, and she is ruthless. Abby has insulted dancers on her team and other teams in the show for very dumb reasons and often tries saying that she is the best in the room. She has gone after parents and tried to place herself in a position of superiority while simultaneously tearing down children.
Yes.
I just don't understand why I don't have a solo because there's 3 kids on the team.
Because I don't want you to have one.
Because you made fun of my kid all year that she's some kind of brat and she's not. She asked you a nice question and you're
the problem.
gonna slap
Her actions have negatively
many
impacted her
was
students
it?
long term, and that's not
This was like, this was 1 year ago.
That show's still on the air? That's why she looks so different. Okay.
really a surprise. This is really just the tip of the iceberg here.
She lost a lot of
So
weight.
let's take a deep, long look at what Abby has done over her 8 seasons of Dance Moms. When it comes down to how Abby behaved on Dance Moms and how she mistreated kids, it's hard to know where to start because there is just so much to look at. But I think a good place to start would be at Abby's absolute lack of understanding for how kids or emotions work. She has this knack for saying awful things and making kids burst into tears. And once she's done making kids cry, she has an inability to tolerate their crying, which she caused. For example, there is a moment in the show where Abby is screaming her face off at JoJo Siwa, her face red, way too emotionally heated for a 40-year-old dealing with a child. She screams at JoJo that she deserves nothing. And when JoJo starts crying, Abby gets fed up at the fact that children cry if you're mean to them.
to be on the pyramid, she was in the group dance.
She deserves nothing. Don't have an attitude that you are entitled in this world. You are not. You deserve nothing else. I want no crying children.
Now, for context on that clip, what Abby said was still related to dance ability. People have described her as just being a tough teacher, not a horrible person. But there is a point where you have to draw the line. You can be tough on a kid, you can be a strict teacher, but being strict does not equal gaining satisfaction from humiliating a child.
I could probably make a kid cry in 30 seconds.
In another edition of Making Kids Cry, we have Abby throwing a temper tantrum because one of her students asked why she couldn't have a solo.
Why I don't have a solo because there's 3 kids on the team.
Because I don't want you to have one. Is that a good enough answer? I'm not giving you another excuse. It's my company. I say no.
And after she throws this tantrum, she's called out for behaving like a child. Now you may be wondering, how does Abby deal with being called out? Well, she tries to make the person calling her out seem like a terrible person who hates disabled people.
Stomp your feet when you say it, because that's what it sounds like. It's a little brat.
You're making fun of me because I'm in a wheelchair and I can't stop my feet.
Okay.
So we know that Abby is harsh in what she says with teaching, and some people write this off as her just being strict. But what can't be written off as being strict is teachers insulting kids based on their appearances.
You can still play that.
Because that has absolutely nothing to do with dance ability. On camera, Abby has not only insulted her dancers based on appearance, she also had no issue with insulting a dancer from a different dance school because of her ears.
Did you just see what that said?
Yes.
Abby, I can't even believe you just did that.
This woman lacks this much confidence that she has to go after teens for their ears. This kind of throws me back to this one time a teacher was about to send me down to the principal's office because my ears were pointy and she thought I permanently reshaped them in class. Anyway, as if insulting ears wasn't bad enough, Abby also in a very racially insensitive manner says that one of her dancers' hair is holding her back.
Yes, do not change your hair.
And you know what? I did get approval for it, and this is part of her ethnicity.
Well, it's weighing her down. It's weighing her down. It's like a log coming out of the side of her head.
In these moments where Abby is putting dancers down over the dumbest reasons, she also makes a point to put the parents down in comparison to her. She asserts that she is superior to everyone in the room, and I don't know if she's aware of this behavior, but this is definitely something that has been shown.
No, I'm making fun of you because you made fun of my kid all year that she's some kind of brat, and she's not. She asked you a nice question, and you're
the brat.
gonna slap the pig.
We've observed that Abby can be a pretty horrible person on the show, but one fact of Dance Moms is that the combination of shifty editing and producer interference allows the show to paint any narrative they want on any person. So let's talk about the producers and show's editing before getting back to Abby, because maybe she was painted in a wrong light. Maybe she wasn't that bad. Let's take a look.
Don't wait to attack.
Dance Moms, like all reality shows, is not true to reality. It's weird that they're called reality shows when the genre is known for its fakeness and deceit, but it's true. Dance Moms is not reality. The show isn't scripted, but testimonies from the dancers, moms, and Abby have all been consistent in saying that the producers and editors of the show have done a lot to make the show not reflect reality.
About the show being scripted, the show is not scripted, but it is very heavily edited and very heavily produced. Like, the producers were definitely mean sometimes, and they were the biggest instigators, the biggest freaking instigators ever. Now, edited, oh my god, they can edit anything. They can edit what you say, they can edit where you are in something, they can edit anything. They can make anything look any way they want it to.
The drama and conflict may not necessarily be scripted, but the producers and editing of the show was able to craft a story and paint people in a way that's just juicy for drama. One big dramatic element in the show that was caused by producer interference would be the pyramid system that Abby uses to rate her dancers each week. The pyramid really is just a tier list each week that tells dancers how much they're worth, how good they did.
You deserve nothing.
Despite Abby's behavior on the show and how it might seem to make sense that she would create something like this, she has actually said that it was entirely the producer's idea. So let's all just get something straight. The producers of Dance Moms sat together in a delightful meeting room, their intellects brewing with a storm of chaotic ideas, and they said, you know what we should do? You know what is gonna make the ratings go through the roof? Tier lists of children, baby!
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I actually did see the show before, and the episodes are at least 44 minutes long.
They're an hour. Yeah, I know.
Wait, you seen it before?
I watched that show once and I never watched it again. Because if anybody ever spoke to my child that way, that would be the last time they went to class. So I assumed it was bullshit. and just stopped watching it because she was a fat, fucking, disgusting piece of shit yelling at children, why would you put your fucking child through that? That to me is child abuse. Why are you taking your child to someone that is chastising them and making them feel worthless? Because that's a good idea. And I stopped watching it.
It's not like rating the kids each week in terms of which one was the best and which one was the worst could have any effect on their confidence or self-esteem. Not at all. The producers paid so much effort and so much focus to their children tier list that you would think they were going to go hungry if they didn't get it right. It's a known fact in the Dance Moms fandom that the days in which the cast filmed Pyramid were the longest because the Pyramid days ran 3 or 4 hours just filming the triangle of humiliation.
It only takes us like 3 hours because we either don't walk in the right way.
They needed people to walk in a certain way. They wanted people to exhibit certain reactions. They needed Abby to reveal the photos on the pyramid just right. If these things were done wrong, too bad, do it again. Pyramid days seem to be the most fabricated. It is the absolute peak of producer involvement because not only do we have this concept being a producer idea, reactions and things such as walking needed to be refilmed until it was perfect. We also have shady editing decisions that change how some of these days were aired altogether. One weird decision was made during a pyramid session. One of the moms, Jill, is shown storming out of the studio with her daughter, and editing from that point on makes it seem like she was absent for the rest of the day, but she was there the whole time, so that's that. The pyramid was one major tool the producers used to stir up drama and portray people a certain way, but these decisions were not confined to the pyramid. Throughout the whole show, there were shady editing decisions that just made people look really bad. One of the moms on the show, Christy, was shown to be yelling at girls to get out of her way, but in actuality, she tweeted that she was just yelling at the cameramen. Her back is turned to the camera in the shots they're using, so you can't really tell who she was speaking to. The idea here is that the editors took this out of context and made her look terrible. And the decisions while making this show, these decisions to make people look like they're behaving outrageously, these happen all the time in nearly every reality show, but this is usually only done with adult cast members. On Dance Moms, the effects of these decisions don't just affect the adults, they affect the children too. Take Peyton, for example. She made a YouTube video talking about her time on the show, and in this, she talks about the first episode she was in. And in this first episode, the show creators and editors decided that painting a young girl to be the conceited, egotistical spawn of Satan was a good idea.
I remember going to the competition on the first episode that I filmed, and they said, "Can you say that you think you did better than the other contestants?" Meaning the other groups. And I said, "Absolutely." And so I said that. They edited it and made it seem like I was saying it about the girls that I was dancing with. And from there, everybody that watched the show hated me.
And I believe this is the clip she was referring to.
I thought that I was better than most of the people.
You thought you were better than most of the people in this group? Oh, that's cocky.
She also said that it was pretty clear from the moment her mom and herself showed up, they were going to be shown as the villains of the show. And the impact of this was pretty serious. She was literally receiving death threats.
There was so much drama. And they immediately made us look like the bad people, like the crazy ones, the bullies, all that stuff.
Okay, I thought freaking Abby was bad, but the editors are worse.
Until I stopped filming, which I filmed for a couple seasons on and off, it never changed. It got to the point where I was getting death threats. People were calling my home phone in the middle of the night. People were showing up to our front door. My dad had to tell people, "Listen, you have to stop."
Death threats are not justifiable. It's not the job of the show creators to police every actions of its viewers, but if you make the decision to televise the worst of someone, if you literally take things they say out of context or try to make them say vile things, then some fans are going to have terrible reactions. And some of them, if they're really angry, terrible people, will send death threats to minors. It's just how it is. After addressing all of that, after talking about how producers and editors can shape narratives in the show, it's time to return back to the infamous Abby Lee Miller and look into the question, did the show do her wrong? Is she a nice person off air? Maybe she doesn't actually want to make kids cry. Well, let's take a look. To answer the question, Abby does not seem like a great person off air. She seems kind of crummy. If you find what she's done on the show to be bad, then it really doesn't get much better because, in the words of a former dancer on the show, what you see is what you get with her.
A lot of questions about if Abby's mean or not. I would probably just say, like, what you see is what you get.
In fact, what you see on the show might be a dulled down version of what you get with Abby, because...
Wait, what?
She's just as bad in person as she is on the show. So that's who she actually is what they're saying. She's not acting. She really is a jackass.
Wait, how do you know that she's at...
Because that's what you just said. What you see is what you get. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. All these catchphrases, Jane. She's just as much of an asshole on the show as she is off the show. That is who she is.
It seems to be a fact in the Dance Moms community that the show has tried to portray Abby as better and has saved her reputation through editing. In the season 4 finale, Abby and Christy get into a fight, and in this, Abby insults Christy's daughter Chloe, and this clip was edited so Abby is saying she's washed up, sending Christy into a rage. But when you listen to the audio, it matches exactly with audio that was used in a previous episode.
Polly, it's finished! Your kid's washed up! You're finished! You're washed up! It's washed up!
So it really looks like the editors changed what Abby said. But why? Well, turns out this clip supposedly had her originally making fun of Chloe's eye. Chloe has a medical condition, silent sinus syndrome, that can cause facial asymmetry. So Abby was making fun of Chloe for a medical condition far beyond her control. And this sort of comment, or maybe this very comment, is what drove Christy and Chloe to leave the show.
The reason I left Dance Moms was because my former dance teacher made fun of a medical condition I have. And if you watched a video that I released on my YouTube a couple of years ago, I have a condition called silent sinus syndrome. Some might say that it wasn't that serious what she said, which I would disagree. She was really rough on me that year. We were at nationals. My mom was actually sticking up for one of my friends that I used to dance with. My dance teacher decided to start yelling at my mom about me. We were in the back room and we weren't supposed to be there, but we heard everything that was said. The crew that took care of the girls, they would always separate us from that, which was great. But I just happened to be listening and I heard everything she said. And they didn't show it on Dance Moms, and it's not really said a lot, but she made fun of me.
Being demeaning towards her dancers in the show is not enough for her, though. It does not quench her thirst for blood. She has basically tried to overshadow a student on Instagram over her accomplishments. Kalani Hilliker, a former dancer on Dance Moms, posted on Instagram that she was really excited for being on a prom girl billboard on Sunset Boulevard. This is not real life. Thank you, Prom Girl XO, for making my dream come true. A billboard on Sunset, I still can't believe it. I was literally in the car 5 minutes before we saw and said, I want to be on a billboard one day, and here I am. She was really happy. And then Abby, with her questionable decisions, her very sharp mind, made a post on Instagram. Let's take a look at it. A billboard in Los Angeles on Sunset Boulevard and Hollywood Boulevard too. Been there, done that. It feels like this exists to really just say, hey, you're happy? You think you did something? Well, everyone look at me. I did something too. I did more. In my many more years of living, I accomplished more. I've been on 2 billboards. Look at that.
Okay,
Yep.
So about that whole silent syndrome thing, apparently she was making fun?
Mm-hmm.
Why on earth did she even do that?
I don't know, James. Why would she do that? Because she's an asshole.
Abby has been seen to not be a great person on Dance Moms and off air, but it's time to look at her self-centeredness and ego made of glass.
Oh boy, Abby's...
Now, I'm not a psychologist, and you can't ever know what's going on inside someone's head, but from Abby's actions, she appears to have an inflated sense of self-importance. Going back to the Instagram post, it looks like Abby tries to make sure people know that she is better than everyone. There are tons of scenes in the show in which someone challenges Abby, and then Abby basically says, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm better than you. What have you done? Nothing. When she's talking to a mom, she really loves making sure the daughter is in the room just to hear how trashy their mother is.
Her all is not good enough. As an educator, you should... Wait a minute! The hick from Indiana is going to tell me what an educator is?
She also told a girl that she would be
Hold on, did she just say the hit from Indiana?
so much better if she could just get away from her mother.
Ava, you're too tall for us today. You're cut.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Honey, you're a great dancer. You're going to be successful if you can get away from your mother and get great training. Go.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
She can say she's better than other people, but if anyone...
She was even making fun of a size?
I guess.
I know.
Class act.
Hick from Indiana is going to tell me what an educator is?
She also told a girl that she would be so much better if she could just get away from her mother.
Ava, you're too tall for us today. You're cut.
Thank you for this
Why do you keep hitting pause?
Because
I can hear it.
opportunity.
Honey, you're a great dancer. You're going to be successful if you can get away from your mother and get great training. Go.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
She can say she's better than other people, but if anyone else tries to say that they are better than others, she is absolutely baffled, shocked, horrified. She is like on her deathbed. She cannot live with the fact that someone could think that they are better than anyone.
Say no, Abby?
No, Abby, I thought she did fabulous.
Right, and you're not a dance teacher.
I thought that I was better than most of the people.
You thought you were better than most of the people in this group? Oh, that's cocky. I was appalled. I cannot believe that a 14-year-old young adult would open her mouth and act like that in a room full of amazing dancers.
She's acting like that behavior isn't her entire personality. Wake up, Abby. Wake up. Abby couldn't stand that, but what really popped her little bubble of self-importance, what really brought the hammer down on her ego made of glass, was when JoJo Siwa talked back to her. Abby lost her mind.
I want no crying children. None.
Well, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry.
Get out. Go. Get out. Go.
Abby genuinely makes kids cry. On the regular, she has made fun of people on the basis of a condition they cannot control. She has said that a girl needed to change her hair and suggested that her ethnicity was holding her back. She has treated people terribly, but JoJo Siwa, bringing facts and logic into this situation, destroyed her. JoJo just says, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry. And Abby goes berserk. She can't handle it.
And she's trying to get out. Because you talked back to her. Oh, so she's a baby, she can't handle talking. No, because her kids don't talk. If you yell at any of those kids, they're gonna cry. They're gonna cry.
She seems to think she's untouchable, that it is an offense to challenge her, and this is probably why she thought she could get away with fraud. She did not. She went to jail because she hid $775,000 of her dance mom's income. She was charged with 20 counts of fraud, and she was in jail for 10 months. Now that we've talked a lot about Abby, the producers, and editing behind this show, let's go to some concluding thoughts on how the cast of this show has been impacted from Dance Moms.
On July 15th, something big is coming to theaters. Oh my. Paws of Fury, rated PG.
After talking about the catastrophe that is this show, it makes sense that the dancers who were on it, the people who were on it, would not look back at their experience as fantastic. Though the dancers on the show have been grateful for the opportunity they've received, many of them have acknowledged that there's been a downside. In the case of Peyton, she received death threats, had to deal with the horrible portrayal of her family. In the case of Cameron Bridges, she had to deal with anxiety, how the show portrayed her and her mother, and being taken out of context.
And it's like, I literally had to go to therapy after that mess. And they always made me look like a loser, back row dancer, all this stuff. Just bad. They would be twisting me and my mom's words to the point where my mom got so skinny on that show because she never ate. Because her anxiety was that bad that she wouldn't eat.
And Chloe had to be in that environment in which she would be judged on something as uncontrollable as her eye. And Chloe was not the only one judged on basis of appearance.
She's like, you suck, you're freaking terrible, your feet are absolutely horrible. One time she told me that the bottom of my feet looked weird because, like, the top of my feet were brown and the bottom were white, and none of the other people's were like that. And she was like, it looks weird on the Marley. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm black.
There was even a part of their contract.
I'm sorry, I'm black. Oh my god.
That controlled the dancer's weight gain.
Because to be a part of her studio, you had to sign a contract. A few of the main reasons my mom wouldn't sign was because it said stuff like you couldn't gain or lose 5 to 10 pounds.
Many of the moms wanted to leave, but the contracts were not easy to get out of. They were long contracts with hardly a way out. And with terms like that, it makes sense that some of the dancers today are struggling with anxiety issues. But despite what they dealt with on the show, they've all done a really good job at persevering and making a good name for themselves. I'd just like to thank all of you who have stuck around to the end of this video. If you guys like...
That's funny that you went to jail for fraud.
Because?
Because it's funny. You're on a television show and you lie about your income. Like they're not going to find out.
One more?
A short one, James.
You know what, just because I want to.
I tried that on TikTok.
Just because I want to, I'm adding this other crazy chick.
I don't care.
What's up, fellow lettuces? Hope you're having a great day today. It's time I cover a topic I've been wanting to cover for a few months now. That vegan teacher. If you don't know who she is, I'll provide a brief synopsis. That vegan teacher describes herself as an animal rights activist. She's vegan, and she has made it clear that she wants to end animal cruelty. Now, the issue with her doesn't lie in any of those facts. The issue with her is how she attacks people and has said some truly vile things. It's more so her approach to what she's trying to convey. Now, recently she has gained a lot more attention because she has been calling out a lot of public figures or influencers for eating meat or doing whatever behavior she deems unacceptable. Now, in this video, I'm not going to cover the specifics of the drama surrounding her, such as who she called out, who's been making response videos to her. If you want to find that stuff, just search her name on YouTube and it's there. It's all over the place. In this video, I thought it'd be interesting if we take more of an approach to understanding why she is actually harming her cause through her approach. Just what makes her online persona so unlikable, why her activism, as she calls it, is lost on nearly everyone who watches her content, and why her actions have most likely been counterproductive to her cause. Take this as a lesson in how not to advocate. I'm going to be going over her most recent videos on her channel and discussing my ideas on how her approach turns many people away from listening. So sit back, relax, do whatever you want to do, and let's get into this. When that vegan teacher makes a response video to people who have called her out, from the videos that I've seen, she's started them off by deciding that the person who called her out is her student. Now, considering her name is That Vegan Teacher, the idea of someone being her student makes sense. However, she's not referring to her viewers here, the people who are eager to learn as her students in this instance. She is referring to the person opposing her.
Boys and girls, we have a new student in our class today, and his name is Scrubby. Let's sing our opening song for him. Ready? Why the aren't you vegan yet? What the is taking you so long? Instead of playing video games all day long.
Now, I think it's safe to say that most people watching this
Stand up playing video games all day.
Okay.
Understand the power imbalance that exists between a student and a teacher. Students have to obey teachers in school pretty much. They have to submit their work to their teacher. Their grades in future to an extent depend on that teacher. Most watching this video understand that a teacher and a student are not on equal footing when it comes to the power they hold. So When that vegan teacher makes a response video putting herself in the teacher position and the debate subject in the student position, it conveys this message that she sees herself to be above the other person. It is no longer a discussion on equal footing. It is now a lecture where she is assumed to be the right in all fields.
Because she's not a real teacher.
The other person is inexperienced and incorrect. This idea is furthered throughout the video as she keeps the student-teacher idea going on. She assigns the subject either an X or a check when she thinks they got something wrong versus getting something right.
Put some check marks if he says something good, and some X's if he says something that's bad or weird or whatever.
And these X's and checks many of the times are not over something that can be objectively proven true or false. They're over subjective matters that can be debated. Her stance can be disputed.
And yeah, let's dive into this cringe wasteland.
Okay, I didn't like that you said it was cringe. That's an X. Okay.
At the end of her video, she tells the student that they can resubmit their oral assignment. I don't want to generalize and say that she does this in all of her videos, but I've seen it in every single response that I have personally watched.
Oh, wait, let me recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 9! All right. Okay, now listen, I think you've seen enough. You can go back and do this report again. You can do your oral presentation again, Scrubby. I am willing to ignore this and let you pass the course if you do it, but it better be a good presentation.
So now the video the person has put out, their opinion piece, their content they made for their viewers, has now been reduced to an oral assignment that was made exclusively for her. It must now satisfy her expectations. This isn't really productive to a civil debate or reaching understanding. She comes off as condescending through these actions. I know myself and many other people in this world have a hard time trying to understand and feel like we're getting anywhere in discussion with someone who places themselves so high up in power. I don't think I need a citation to say that most people would be hesitant to adopt someone's viewpoint or embrace their ideas when they seem to have stated that you are lesser than them. That vegan teacher has a way of what many people would deem to be overreacting. Example, one of her response videos is titled, Russell Brand should dump his wife. Now, why should he dump his wife, you may wonder? Well, after sitting through many minutes, she finally talks about why he should dump his wife.
Me? Alright, people like to eat meat. People I love, people I live with eat meat, for God's
Why do you live with people who eat meat?
sake, my wife. Change it.
His wife eats meat. Why do you stay with her? She pays people to murder.
It seems like quite the overreaction. Russell Brand is a vegan and he's okay with his wife eating meat, so long as he's okay with it. I don't think they should separate. However, that vegan teacher sees this situation much differently. We can also take a look at her statements addressing Gordon Ramsay if we want to find examples of her tone not really matching up with the situation she's in.
Gordon Ramsay ad in the middle of this video. This disgusting human being, this person who thinks it's okay to murder and pay for murder of animals, and he's the shittest cook ever. If he can't even make all of his restaurants vegan, disgraceful, and I'm forced to watch it.
No, you're not. You're not forced to watch anything, you fucking whore. Shut it off, bitch.
We can also take a look at how she
hate people. Especially her. Don't cram your fucking ideas down my throat.
And not to mention, there's a freaking skip ad. Holy hell. You can skip it if you wanted to.
Comments on minor features in the videos she's responding to. For example, how she responds to the high-pixel Bed Wars death screen.
Today we are going to be zooming in a little bit more of that vegan.
Why does it say you died on the screen? Like, can't you find a better game to play? Is there no game where people are rescuing animals? Is there no game where you all go into a slaughterhouse and just go rescue all those poor...
No, there isn't. There's not a single game that I've found yet. And if you want to get even more pissed off, play Minecraft. You'll have a super bad time there.
innocent animals?
On multiple occasions, she has exhibited behavior that many would consider overreacting, and this behavior really doesn't help her. Now, the reason why overreacting can be bad if you're trying to educate or send a message is because The very idea of overreacting to something seems illogical. It suggests that emotion is more in play than logical thought, which is why overreacting or exaggeration is used for a comedic effect quite often.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
What is that?
The fire's shooting at us!
Now her statement...
What the hell?
Just a show called The Office, James.
Why did she do that?
I don't know.
And actions in which she overreacts is not used for comedic effect. Rather, this appears to be her
It's a thing for racism, is what it is.
genuine response to what she sees, and it does strike most as absurd. Her words, even if they hold validity, are less likely to be listened to when they're presented like this.
This disgusting human being, this person who thinks it's okay
Why did you go
to
back?
murder
I didn't go back. She played the same thing.
and pay for murder of animals, and he's a shit ever. But now he goes into this apologetic sort of thing, like,
Also, he wasn't the one who put that ad on there. You freaking retard. Learn your freaking shit before you talk about it.
Okay, hit play.
I'm vegan, but I don't want to like push my beliefs on you.
Yes, you do! You liar!
It's like, I'm vegan, I don't abuse my wife, but hey, if you go ahead and abuse your wife, that's up to you. That you're not going to judge somebody who's murdering somebody else. If you do not judge that person to be wrong and you don't try to stop them, that's not okay.
The very common pattern, the lifestyle of being a meat eater, shouldn't be seen as this malicious thing. Yet in that vegan teacher's videos, she condemns this lifestyle. It feels like a severe overreaction that is blown out of proportion, and this response assigns malicious intent to people. So this certainly doesn't make room for people to empathize with her message or listen to her content when they are being called evil. She has done things in videos that many deem creepy or gross. Let's discuss how that vegan teacher has done some questionable things. In the middle of her response to YouTuber Poncho, she tries to get her point across that veganism for her has given her better digestive health, that it is healthier for her digestive system to be vegan. I think that's all that needs to be said to convey that point. I think if I say a certain diet is healthier for my digestive system, if you really wanted to, you could fill in the blanks about what that must mean in its entirety. However, that vegan teacher, in getting that point across, is gross. It was gross what she said. She, in detail, described her bathroom habits and the consistency of her waste, and then made assumptions about Poncho's bathroom health.
The only thing that comes out of my mouth is a beautiful vegan and it's long and big and healthy, and I'll bet you that when I it's a hell of a lot faster than when you do. You probably sit there and push it out for ages, right? Yeah, you can't get it out. Not me. I just sit there and I go.
Can you fast forward that? It was bad enough when she showed her piss sitting in a fucking cup.
This is not how you make a video if you want people to understand you and actually consider your ideas. Another segment from one of her recent videos again didn't sit well with me. Going back to the Russell Brand response video again, she does something gross. She tells Russell Brand to get his wife to become vegan, and does this by suggesting something I just find too personal and gross.
It's your responsibility to make sure that she becomes vegan. Do whatever it takes. Teach her. Withhold sex if you have to.
First of all,
did you just say whole sex?
Withhold sex. What does withholding mean, James? It means keeping from you. This woman's fucking more of an idiot than I thought she was.
that reach into that personal section of life was appalling. Secondly, that statement really suggests that he holds this power over his wife and that it is his duty to make her do things she had no interest in doing.
What the hell?
Yeah, your wife's not your fucking property, bitch.
Too many
assumptions.
Another thing that vegan teacher does that is aggravating is that she makes assumptions on what those who oppose her are feeling. She assumes many things.
Yeah, you know what
she
happens
states
with
many
people that make assumptions? You make an ass out of yourself. Because you can't have assumptions without ass in front of it. Look how the word's spelled.
Oh my god. It does.
Mm-hmm. I say that phrase all the time. You know what it is when you make assumptions? You make an ass out of yourself. You shouldn't make assumptions about anything. And so you have all the facts.
Vegan teacher does that is aggravating is that she makes assumptions on what those who oppose her are feeling. She assumes many things. She states many subjective matters as blatant fact. For example, she states in a video that the reason people dislike her is because she makes people feel guilty.
Oh, he's gonna try and pull up some research, because we all know why I annoy everyone. Because I make them feel guilty.
Yes, she declares that the dislike of her just comes down to people experiencing guilt.
No, it's the dislike of you of comparing GOP. That's the reason why people don't like you, is because you're giving your dog a vegan diet, you made a song about George Floyd, you compare sexual rape to animals, you literally compare World War II to animals, you compare sperm to animals, you compare rape to animals, and you even compare the LGBTQ community to animals. That's why people don't like you.
As seen in this video I'm making, or any other YouTuber response videos, there are many reasons.
What?
Nothing. There's a lot of reasons people don't like her.
But those were some of the reasons, right?
You could dislike her. Tons of content creators have talked about her and provided their reasoning. It does not come down to guilt. Yet she asserts this to be the reason people dislike her. This statement doesn't work because it's easily proven false just based on your own opinion, just based on the collective opinions and videos put out there. Another example of her assuming intent or internal thoughts is again in her Russell Brand response video. Russell states that vegan teacher is different and not the standard image that pops into your brain when you think of vegan. And she is immediately offended by that comment, and she starts reaching for the fact that it must be something about her age, appearance, or gender that made him say that.
Not all vegans think like you, lol.
That it must be based on something she cannot control.
It's part of the criticism and condemnation of her because she does not fit what our expectations might be. Like, latterly, veganism has been sort of rebranded.
What do you think he's referring to by saying that? The fact that my hair is gray? The fact that I'm female? Or the fact that I'm 56? What is the discrimination going on right now?
Now, I also can't try to assume what he meant by his statement, but it didn't strike me as being that malicious. I think her behavior, her content, and actions sets her apart from many other vegans, and that alone could be enough to say that she is different. Not anything to do with her appearance, gender, or age. She seems to be on the defensive to the point where she responds to some statements as if they were coded to be an attack against her, when they really weren't. She assumes a lot. In another one of her response videos where she is responding to YouTuber Scrubby, she makes a lot of really weird, gross statements where she's like role-playing with this dumb idea that Scrubby is watching her video and really taking in her statements and mulling over her knowledge. And in this, she suggests that Scrubby is picking his nose while watching it.
Okay, Scrubby, you get it? All right, good. Glad you're listening.
And the natural lifespan of a cow.
You know what? I'm going to give you 1 point just for listening, because I see you there and you are paying attention. So I'm going to give you a check mark for that. All right? Good. Okay, stop picking your nose, though. Okay, don't pick your nose right now, because this is important. This is your evaluation. Sit straight. Good boy.
How to be unlikable 101. Do this. This is not how you make a response video. This is gross. Don't just say that the people opposing you are picking their noses. That is not right.
Honestly, at this point, she thinks she's God himself.
She contradicts herself. Many people contradict themselves. It's just something people do from time to time. People can contradict their past thoughts and behavior over a period of time as a sort of growth or development, but I'm not talking about a gradual change in behavior here. With that vegan teacher, she contradicts herself mere videos apart or within the same video.
But the reference to me as an older woman is incredible. It is consistent. Why does my age get brought up? I wonder. What does it have to do with anything?
She suggests her age is
Irrelevant.
What?
Irrelevant.
She suggests her age is irrelevant and doesn't mean anything yet. She used it as an excuse for her definition.
Deficient knowledge in technology. 3 statements were made. 3 statements were minutes apart in the same video. That's what she's talking about.
For
I cannot
their own
stop
belief system, and
this.
this.
Don't you hate technology? Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm 56 and trying to learn the technology.
When combined in with other things we've discussed here, like how she seems to look down on opposing viewpoints, when she contradicts her own ideas, it gets more frustrating. A massive hypocritical belief she holds is that animal rights activists or vegans shouldn't attack each other. However, many of the videos on her channel are response videos to fellow vegans or animal rights activists.
Because animal rights activists should really work together.
But yet she is here sowing division among fellow activists.
Okay, so now she's attacking other vegans.
I guess so.
Often tears people down who are taking steps that are closer to her belief, but aren't quite there yet. She only accepts vegetarianism as a transition phase to veganism and doesn't appreciate the idea of being a vegetarian alone as valuable.
In this industry here, there are many murders being committed. It is not okay to be vegetarian. It is only okay if that is a means to the end, which is to be vegan.
She says that animal rights activists need to work together, but she doesn't seem to appreciate the efforts of others until they reach her standards. In conclusion, looking back at the things we've discussed here, I'd say that vegan teacher has failed with her activism. In fact, I think her platform has actively hurt the
Again, why does she hate vegetarians?
I don't know.
reputation of veganism. Now, one of my teachers growing up, one of my childhood friends, they were vegan. My family members have tried going vegan. I have no issue with the lifestyle itself, nor do I stereotype all vegans.
Again, she's pretty much saying what everybody else, like how Opalif said it before. If you're vegan, go ahead. We're not stopping you. But just so you know, don't shove your beliefs down everybody's throat.
Yep.
To be like that vegan teacher, but some people do. Some people ridicule and discredit the lifestyle because they imagine vegans as people who act like this.
The only thing that comes out of my is a beautiful vegan
Well, not all vegans think like her, guys.
and it's long and big and healthy and I'll
That's like me protesting, saying, if you're vegan, you're racist.
bet you that when I it's a
Also, I don't need to hear this still. Go away.
Veganism. This is the person that pops into the minds of many when they hear the term vegan. I just think she's harmed the reputation of her cause, and her activism has been...
Okay, so whenever someone hears the word vegan, that's what they think in their mind now?
I guess so.
counterproductive, which is ironic because she belittles others for not being good enough with their activism. She could have used her platform to make actually educational content, considering her name is That Vegan Teacher. For her activism to actually work, I think she needs to educate more. She needs to suggest practical ways in which one could go vegan, instead of just telling Gordon Ramsay to suddenly flip every restaurant into being fully vegan. Like, that's not practical. That's not realistic. It seems irrational.
You've had your fun. You have your millions of dollars now.
There's her ass video, I Can't Breathe. That's what I meant when she compared it to racism to this. Not only is that an insult to Floyd, that's also an insult to the family of Floyd.
Okay, can we finish this
life
up?
around for the rest of your life. Your one job is to undo all the damage. It is to make your restaurants 100% vegan and encourage all other chefs to do the same.
It really all just comes down to the fact that that vegan teacher has failed to be an educator, but instead she has resorted to attacking others to get her message out. Thank you all for sticking by this channel.
Okay, thank you.
I like how you sighed when I saw her when I said that.
To myself? Allison has nothing to do
What?
with this. Okay.
You sighed when I said that, did you?
Sighed what?
When I said there's that video, I can't breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
You need to leave. Get out.
I feel bad for the victims who had to suffer because of this a-hole.
I have a suggestion. Shut her the fuck off and don't watch it anymore.
Better yet, get her off of YouTube.
She's a worthless piece of shit, James.
Well, how about this? Get her off of YouTube and get her arrested.
They're not going to put her off of YouTube, and she's not really doing anything to make herself arrested. Or to get herself arrested. She's not doing anything against their rules and regulations. You don't have to watch her.